Hey everybody, Gina DeLuca here. I know you're seeing things from the wrong side right now. Today's video, we will be addressing the polycrylic cracks. Can you see those? Can't tell. So sometimes when using polycrylic as your varnish, it will crack, as you can see. And what we are addressing today is how to fix that. Can it be fixed? Is it even remotely salvageable? The short answer is sometimes. So we will be addressing today how to do that. So let me flip you around and we will get cracking. Okay. So why does the polycrylic crack? The short answer, only the Lord knows. But there are several factors that seem to play a part, but not always. So that's kind of the question. I can varnish 4 paintings at one time and do everything exactly the same, and only one will crack, which is what happened here. So maybe I put it on too thick. It will happen if you put it on too thick. It will happen if your painting is not cured. And it can happen if when you clean your silicone off, you don't allow enough time for the paint to kind of cure again, because it does absorb some of that water. Even if it's only a little bit, it's enough. And if it's very high humidity, that seems to sometimes play a part. And I've heard people say that they torch their polycrylic to get rid of bubbles. And I think I may have done that on this one, if I'm not mistaken, to see what would happen. What happened is it smells really bad, which probably means it's terrible for you. And it cracked. So high heat. So maybe if you varnished and left it out in the sun, that could do it. Or in front of a fan. So what we're going to do, I really need a new piece of sandpaper here. This is looking a little sad and worn out. But we're going to sand this down. This is very fine grit. If I can even, I don't know which one this is, but it is a very, very fine grit paper. This does not say what kind. I would go with the finest you can find. I guess people who are into ASMR will probably be digging on this right here. So basically, you want to go in circles, and then you're going, after you do like a nice circular pattern on the whole thing, which I'm not going to make you listen to, then we're going to come in and go in one direction, and then we'll come in and do the other direction. So I will put you on pause so that you don't have to listen to that or watch. And then we'll come in when we're all sanded. Okay, I've given this a pretty good sanding. You can see all of the cracks are very, very visible now because there is dust in there from the varnish. So I'm going to take a baby wipe. These are just dollar store baby wipes. Just a little tip, when you store these with the opening side down. so that they don't dry out on the top, as it can sometimes happen. And I can still feel those cracks. This is probably the worst cracking I've seen on any of my canvases. It was really bad. It is quite possible that this is past the point of salvage, unless you just put it out there and say that's what you meant to do. It's like a raku pottery glaze, and it was completely intentional. I mean, they make crackle glaze, so you could just say that's what it is. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry for a bit, because as I mentioned, you don't want it to be wet. So, I'm going to let it dry, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I've sanded it, I've wiped it down, and now I'm going to do another layer of the polycrylic. Let me put my glove on. Now there's a lot of things that you can use to put the polycrylic on. A brush, obviously. A silicone beauty blender also works. And if I were just going to be doing one canvas, one small canvas, then I would probably pull that out. But I've been varnishing. So I have a sponge that is wrapped in a nylon stocking knee-high thingy. And so I'm just going to use this. This doesn't leave any brush strokes, very minimal bubbles. It works pretty well. This works really well for big canvases. So I'm just spreading this around, and then I will come over top and just go in one direction. Now, since most of the time the reason this cracks is because it's too thick, obviously you want to try to avoid being too thick. Okay. So I'm going to let this dry, and then I may possibly have to sand it again and repeat. We'll see what happens. Okay, so here it is. It's been 2 days and about 10 layers of polycrylic. It doesn't usually take that much to fix the cracks, but I have a feeling that this particular canvas was just cursed or something, because it kept winding up with hairs in it. There's a hair mark in that reflection. That happened within the last 2 layers, and I basically just gave up. I got to the point where I can show you that. Let me try to get the best angle here without making you seasick. On this particular piece, and this doesn't usually happen, but the layer of polycrylic also cracked the yellow. So here's the darker colors, and you can't see that there were cracks there, and it was over the entire canvas. And you can see it's a very smooth finish. Not as smooth as resin, but yeah, so the yellow, you can tell that there were cracks there, not in the finish, but if you get up close enough to it, you can see that. So, you know, it depends on how much you love the piece. If it's something so awesome that you can't live without it, then it's worth the work. But it is a lot of work because every layer, you know, do a layer and sand and do a layer and sand until you get smooth, which is what I did on this. I put a lot of time into this painting. Oh, yeah, one other thing that you might want to look out for when you're doing all that sanding is to not do that. Where, try to get out of the shadow. If you can see that, I got a little overexcited there on the edge because that's where the bracer bar is. So it's very easy to go too thin on your edge. So take note of that. Do as I say, not as I do. But you can salvage your painting. It does take a lot of work. Some are more work than others. I've had them crack before where just 2 more layers fixed it. But this was very deeply cracked. I hope you guys learned something. Learn from my mistakes. Don't make the same ones. Please like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. It really helps me to stay motivated to bring you as many paintings as possible. I've been slacking a little bit lately, but I've been working on other aspects, and it'll all be good. You'll all find out what I've been up to. It's a secret right now. But I've been very busy. I haven't forgotten you guys. So anyway, please like and share and subscribe. Do check out the description box below for links to my PayPal tip jar if you feel so inclined. It helps me stay stocked up in supplies. You know, that's it's a lot of supplies. One day I may have to straighten up my mess and show you what I have going on here. My poor family. Oh, Lordy. And also in the description box is the link to go make some art. That is our Facebook group. Do post your masterpieces there. And if you find yourself in a painting pickle, there's always someone there who is ready, willing, and able to help you. Sometimes you're in that crucial moment and you just need help right away. And also, my paintings are now available for sale on my website at ginadeluca.net. That link is also there. And my Amazon store. Anything that you purchase off the entire site of Amazon, I will make a small commission of if you enter through that link at no additional cost to you. That is very helpful to me in my pursuit of bringing you lots of content. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your Amazon purchases and your just generosity in general with your lovely comments. You guys rock. Thank you. I hope you have a beautiful day. Now go make some art.